Welcome to Trade Pro. I've just tested a strategy that only uses the 50-period exponential moving average on a 1-hour time frame for euro against the US dollar. This one performed quite well after 130 back-tested trades. This one uses a 5-stage take profit with a stop loss that moves to break even once the first profit target is hit. So let's talk about the strategy, then get into the 130 back-tested trades and talk about all the results. The only indicator needed here, as I said earlier, is the 50-period exponential moving average. This one is going to be taking entries purely based on pullbacks below or above the 50-period exponential moving average. The direction of that trade is determined by which direction price pulls back into the 50-period EMA from. So when price pulls back and down into the 50-period EMA, that is going to be a buy below the 50 EMA. So you can see on this one, it wicks below the 50-period exponential moving average, which is an entry. The stop loss is placed at 20 pips, and then there's a 5-stage take profit method where the stop loss is moved to break even when the first 20 pip profit target is hit. So this is how it's going to be done in the testing. I'm going to be doing a 1/5 off at each of these profit targets, and that's 20% off of the original position size. So here at the first 20 pip target, 1/5 of the position will be closed and the stop loss will be moved to break even. At each of the next profit targets, another 1/5 of the position will be closed. These are at increments of 20 pips each. So the first target is 20 pips, then 40, 60, 80, and 100 for the final profit target. So we can see again, price comes up after reaching the 5th profit target here at 100 pips, pulls back into the 50-period exponential moving average again, coming from above it and dropping down. So the entry is just below the 50-period EMA with a 20 pip stop loss. The first profit target is hit here. So stop loss goes to break even at that point. Then the second and third are hit, but it never reaches the 4th or the 5th profit target. At that point, price drops and stops it out for the rest of the position at break even. Price then is below the 200 EMA, or the 50 period EMA, I should say. Pulls back again into the 50 EMA over here, which is a short entry as price has pulled up and come up towards the 50 EMA from below it. This one ends up getting stopped out, and now price is over the 50 EMA. It pulls back, coming from above it. The entry is here with a 20 pip stop. And then this current one that is still playing out has already hit the first 2 profit targets. So the stop loss will be at break even now. And then we will wait and see if this 60, 80, and 100 pip target is hit, but there's no risk on the table at this point, and 2 of the first profit targets have been hit. So 2/5 of the position are already closed for this one. So hopefully this strategy makes sense. It's very simple, just looking for pullbacks into the 50 EMA, depending on the trend direction and what direction the price is pulling back into the 50 EMA from. Then a 5-stage take profit system. So we'll see how profitable this one is, if it is indeed profitable at all. Get into the 130 back tests. The reason it's not 100 is because I lost track while testing. So it's 130. We get some extra. So let's see how this performs and go over all the numbers after the testing. All right, the results are in after the 130 back-tested trades, so let's check it out. This was tested on euro against the US dollar on a 1-hour time frame. The risk to reward ratio ranges from 1-to-1 all the way up to 1-to-5 risk to reward ratio, where the stop loss is moved to break even at the 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio target. The time for 130 trades was 11 months, which is pretty standard for a 1 hour time frame test. And the total winners was 74 out of the 130, and the total losses 56 out of 130. The most wins in a row was 4, and the most losses in a row was also 4. And the gain on the account figure, 41.6% or 64%, depending on how you do the take profit. So let's talk about that math in just a sec. And this also assumes a 1% risk of account equity per trade and also not compounding. So with compounding, obviously, it would be quite a bit higher on these numbers. But just to keep things simple, no compounding involved here. So let's talk about each of these broken down. The winning trades, how many reached only 20 pips, how many reached 40, 60, 80, 100. Here we have the data. So 20 pip target hit and then stopped out at break even, 31 trades, which each time this happens, we have plus 0.2% gain on the account because we're only closing 1/5 of the trade at this first target, right? 40 pip target hit, then stopped out at break even after that. 11 trades out of the 130 plus 0.6% gain on the account per trade each time this happens. 60 pip target hit, then stopped out 4 times plus 1.2% gain on the account per trade. 80 pip target hit, then stopped out 4 times plus 2% gain on the account per trade. 100 pip target hit, 24 trades out of the 130 plus 3% gain on the account per trade. So this shows, if you took 1/5 off at each of these, and that's 1/5 off of the original position, right? So you close 1/5 of your trade at each of these targets, 5 different targets to hit. Stop losses move to break even at the first 20 pip target, right? And so we take a look at this and we think about, okay, this made 41.6% based on the back testing. How do we get 64%? Well, very simply, what if we only take our profit all at the 100 pip target? We don't do a multi-stage take profit, but we still move the stop to break even at the 20 pip target. So effectively, all of these ones here become net zero because all of these are just break even now. There's no gain on the account for any of these 50 trades. So the 20, the 40, the 60, and the 80, that's 50 between the 4 of these categories. All of these essentially become zero. There's no effect on the gain on the account because they're all stopped out at break even and no profit is taken. But then we have our 24 trades that are all hitting a 1-to-5 risk to reward ratio, so plus 5% gain on the account if you're doing this method. So we have 120% gain on the account, 5 times 24. Then we have these 50 trades that are essentially nothing. They're just zero. It's all stopped at break even. And then we have the 56 losses, right? Minus 1% per one, so minus 56%, plus 120. So what's 120 minus 56? 64. That's left us with the 64% gain on the account here if you use that method, just to keep things interesting. So that's what would happen. And of course, you can do other calculations with similar methods and find out, what would have happened if I did this and this. So it's kind of cool to have all this information so that you can kind of formulate what's the best way to go about doing it. All right. So let's put this on over to the strategy ranking spreadsheet. This one did quite well. I'll kind of scale it back because this was based on 130 tests. So I'll just scale it down to 100 and do the percentage based on this one here, the 41.6%, not the 64, because the original test explained was this one. So let's see how it stacks up on the strategy ranking spreadsheet. All right, here it is on the strategy ranking spreadsheet, falling out spot number 44 out of the 98 strategies tested. So right in that middle ground here and doing decently well with the 32% gain on the account over a series of 100 trades. So I did scale it back because I tested it 130 times. So I just brought it down to if I had tested it 100 times so that it matches up with these other ones. 57% win rate, 1 hour time frame, 11 months of price data. So pretty standard for a 1 hour time frame strategy. So that's going to cover it. This one did pretty well and is definitely worth taking a look at for something super simple. And of course, I'm sure there's a lot more one can do to improve the results using a multi-time frame analysis, getting down to a lower time frame to better, more accurately predict the bottom, and trying different ways to do the take profit system, stop loss. Of course, there's always a better way. So just a very simple test, and it does show some promising backtesting results, so may be worth looking into. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.